Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. And this is a topic which I don't want to discuss in much details, because then we can continue discussing days together. But the point is, what is the highest stage of love? In fact, the goal of Krishna consciousness is to love God. Step one is this, we have to remember it. We often forget that the goal of Krishna consciousness is to love Krishna. We think goal of many devotees, they get confused, and not confused is not a good term. They get deviated, let me put this point, and they think the goal of Krishna consciousness is preaching, or maybe goal of Krishna consciousness is entertainment, or nowadays goal of Krishna consciousness is to increase your views, and it's like to increase your congregation. Well, those all are part of Krishna consciousness. Excluding increasing your views and entertainment. Preaching is a part of Krishna consciousness. Prasadam is a part of Krishna consciousness. Dancing is a part of Krishna consciousness. But the goal of Krishna consciousness is to love Him. Now, what is the highest expression of love? That's a big question. All the Vaishnava Sampradayas, all the theistic religions around the world, that means including Christianity and Islam, it's very clear that the goal of a devotee is to love God. That's absolutely clear. Even in Madhva Sampradaya and Sri Sampradaya, which talks about moksha or liberation as a goal of life, but then if you read their works properly, they define liberation as to love God. But that's hidden. I mean to say, because Sri Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, they were preaching according to Upanishadic tradition. So they were using the word moksha, but the idea in their works was moksha means to love Him. But in other Vaishnava Sampradayas like Vallabh Sampradaya, Nimbark, especially in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradayas, we made it very clear that the real aim of life is love of God. And we also made it clear that the goal of life is not moksha, liberation, in the sense how Advaitvadis or Shankara people use the word moksha. The real meaning of liberation is really to love Him. When you love God, then you are liberated from the bonds of material nature. But Shankaracharya, Advaitvadis, they use this word liberation to mean that you merge in God. In that sense, liberation is not the goal of life. The goal of life is love. Because the word liberation and moksha was given a wrong interpretation, that is why Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya had to come up with the idea that the liberation is, moksha is not the goal of life, the goal of life is love of God. But that was not necessary if you define liberation in a proper spirit and you understand that real liberation means to love God. So it's very clear that when we talk about God and we talk about devotion, the goal is love in all sampradayas. But the difference in all sampradayas and theistic religion is the expression of love. To what degree love can go, to what heights love can raise, and what is the highest level where love can reach when we talk about loving God. That's the difference between different sampradayas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of the greatest stalwart acharyas of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, he has written an article in his Gaudiya magazines which he used to publish, and he wrote there that the highest expression of love of God was given by the greatest philosopher and saint, and none other than incarnation of Krishna himself, that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He read all the philosophical works and did a research on love of God, what other sampradayas are saying, other theistic religions are putting forth, but he found Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving the highest expression of love of God. In simple words, all the other theistic religions or devotional sects, when they talk about love, they say love means to unite with your beloved. That's where they go, maximum. To unite with your beloved. The marriage of soul and God. That's what they talk in Christianity. Or in Sri Sampradaya, they will talk Samlesh Bhav. The soul and God is completely united through love. Or if you go in Sufism and Islam, they will say that the soul has become the bride or bridegroom, which is God. That's union. But when Mahaprabhu said, no, that's not the highest expression of love. The highest expression of love lies not in union, but lies in separation. Because when lover and beloved are separated, then love heightens. Love becomes more deeper and concentrated and powerful. And it is expressed more physically. When beloved and lovers and beloved are separated, their remembrance intensifies, and they weep, and they wail, and they cry, and they become unconscious. But that doesn't happen when they're united. So when God and soul is united in love, then suppose if you have X unit, and when they're separated, then it becomes 100x, 200x, million times x. Virha, Dui Gunit Virha, Tri Gunit Virha, Chatur Gunit Virha. That's what Bhaktisiddhanta uses a term when it comes to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And more than that, even beyond that separation, the expression of love, even beyond that, love finds its highest expression when there is exploitation in separation. When the beloved doesn't meet the lover. It's separated when God separates himself from you and he doesn't reciprocate with you. That's the worst thing. Krishna says to gopis in 10th canto, when he called them in the forest by playing his flute, in Ras Panchadhyaya, he says actually he was dancing with them, and he actually, in the middle of the dance, he disappeared. And then he reappeared, and gopis said, why did you disappear? We were hurt. We came for you and you vanished and we got hurt. There he explains that I disappeared not to hurt you, but actually to heighten your love. That's why I did that, and to show to this world what your love was. But not just that, Krishna says there that sometimes I don't reciprocate with my devotees. I disappear, I separate myself from them, but still I keep reciprocating, but sometimes I even don't reciprocate. Why? Because when I don't reciprocate with them, then they weep, and they feel lonely, they feel rejected. And when they feel rejected, their intensity of surrender intensifies, and they become very pure. They lose all attraction to material world. They forget everything in this material world, and they're completely focused on me. And they're completely focused on their uselessness. They become extremely humble. All good qualities manifest in them. And that, in one word, you can say, Krishna, that's some transcendental exploitation, something like that. He uses a devotee in his service, and then it doesn't reciprocate. What is this? This is exploitation, isn't it? In mundane terms, it is exploitation. You use somebody in your service, you ask them to serve you, but then you don't reciprocate with them, you don't talk to them, and you are on your business. That's exploitation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that's the highest expression of love. Separation, and even beyond that, no reciprocation. That means exploitation. And that's what Chaitanya Shikshashtakam ends. Mahaprabhu's highest verse in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Aslishya va patratam vinashtumam. That verse is there. That is Gaudiya Vaishnava conception. That's where we have to reach. When our love, when we can experience this love in separation, and we can experience the highest mercy of Krishna, the highest love of God in His not reciprocating with us, then we are perfect. in our devotional service. That is idea of Mahaprabhu. It might appear contradictory on the face of it, but that's the secret which we need to learn. And if we can cultivate this mood and consciousness, we can attain Krishna very easily according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.